So like I was saying, I'm a Turo business builder, and that's the main thing that I focus on now. It's not that I just wanted to leave the platform, but I've made my mark with that from people in here that know me personally or people in the community that know what I've done. Went from, 6 cars to 30 cars in less than a couple months, right? I've scaled it. I touched 6 figures on and off the platform when it comes to renting vehicles out. And that's literally what I've done. I've already taken these steps. I've already made these mistakes. I've already optimized and learned from those mistakes. That way I can provide you guys a flawless system, a blueprint that works, right? And then that way you guys don't have to make those same mistakes. What I can't do is sit here and tell you guys I can't force you to do it my way, right? But if you do it my way, you're going to have better results, right? We're all different. We all have different mindsets and thoughts on how we want to do things and what we want what we want to do in business. But I got a blueprint, man. I've done these things. I've went through I've taken the L's. I've been to the point to where my credit was kind of froze up. I had 6 cars on my personal. I've learned how to fix that and make it better for myself. But when I had them 6 cars, I couldn't get nothing else because I didn't know how to put it in the LLC, right? I didn't know how to, go out and get capital to actually grow and scale my business. I went in with like a $30,000 credit card. I had 1 credit card. That was it. So do I wish I would have had more? Yeah, because it's a business. Why would anybody want to go into a business with less than 100, 200K? It doesn't make sense. Like that's your capital, bro. That's really what keeps you going, what keeps you sustained. So you're not always using your winnings, which is, your profits. You don't want to use your profits to run and operate your business. Use the bank's money. Use OPM to run the business and monetize your asset. Use the bank's money for your repairs and, your maintenance and things like that. Don't use your money because then you're back into the 9 to 5, right? You're back to, I'm going to make the profit. Then the profit that I make, I'm going to spend it again. And then you're just in a circle. You're busting your ass going to work and doing all that, right? Let's buy yourself some time. That's what the credit is for. It buys you time. You get a minimum payment, a monthly payment. So you can go drop 5 bands on your business and that return might not be real quick. It might take 2 or 3 months, right? But you only got that, $180 payment, whatever it is, $80 to $100. You only got to worry about that every single month. You could take that until that really explodes and then boom, now you pay it down, right? All you got to do to be good on credit is make your payments on time, right? You in charge of the whole credit profile if you think about it. You make your payments on time. You don't get any collections, right? If your utilization is high, get added to a trade line if you're about to go buy something and do something. As a business owner, my utilization is always through the roof. I got a lot of stuff out, right? Almost $1 million worth of debt out, and it is good debt, right? Vehicles and houses and things like that. But so my utilization is always high. When I want to go get more capital from the bank, right? I optimize my credit. You're in charge of that. So don't think that it's just some system or some game. You guys that are already a part of this community not even a part of the community, but you guys that are a part of the mentorship, we do that work for you, but you got the blueprint. Mr. Kane Robinson, right? He recorded everything for you guys. You never have to pay another person for credit repair ever again. You use that. You teach that stuff to your family. You teach that stuff to your children. That's how we break the curse of generational wealth, right? That's how we get out of the rat race. So that's why we provide that kind of stuff. And that's the true value that we have over here. I'm not just teaching you how to get rich, right? I say it in plenty of meetings, right? I can get anybody rich. I can get any of you guys some access to some capital just because of the partnerships that we have and what we built. I'm trying to build wealth, right? So when you get your credit right and you go through that optimization phase and then you get you some capital, go get into other niches, right? Get you a couple cars on Turo, boom. Holler at our real estate person. Get you a property. Get that thing making you some money. Go get you some Airbnb units. Hell, get you an Amazon store. We got all that stuff in there. Start you a podcast. That's what that community is for. That's the outlet for you guys to have different things to choose from and be able to be successful doing. So that's a little bit about it, right? That's kind of just some sauce, some not even really no gems or nothing. It's really just a mindset type thing, right? It's just a mindset type thing. That's the mindset I had coming in. I'm not trying to work a job for nobody ever again. I'll never go to work for nobody again. My children will never work for nobody unless they want to. I can't force them to be a business owner or be in the business, but they'll never work a job for somebody if I have to choose that. You know what I mean? My family, I want it to be the same way. I got to start with my bloodline first, right? And then I get to the family and friends and people that really want this and want to go to the next level. And I want to do the same thing for them. That's really what it's about. You just got to follow the blueprint, and you got to pay attention and do it right, the right way. Hold on, let me let a couple more people in. So yeah, we'll go ahead and hit it. We'll start with it. Any questions, shoot them. Let's talk. That's what this is. This is a Q&A. Like I said, if I'll hit on some credit stuff, but I would rather you guys save that for the credit call or post in the community under the questions tab. Hit the questions, ask the credit questions to my credit expert. That's what he does. That's what the partnership is for, and he'll be able to guide you that. Private rental, rent to own, Turo, hit me. Let's go. Let's see what we're doing. Everybody who's hosting already, what you got for me? I'll let some more people in. What we looking like? What kind of what kind? I know there's some questions out there, right? Come off mute. Let's talk about it. We're a community. We ain't no question a dumb question. It doesn't matter what it is.
So I got a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Cameron.
So I started the LLC and I got my EIN. And what is like the biggest kickback for those type of things? Because I made the name, I got that squared away, got the EIN, like the courses had. So what is like the biggest kickback with that?
Meaning like what are you able to get with that LLC and EIN?
Yeah.
Like on a base model?
Yeah.
So it's still everything's gonna kind of reflect back to credit. So however good your credit is, you got to understand that these are new LLCs that you guys are creating. They're brand new, right? Our lenders are still going to fund them LLCs. That's what we have those partnerships for, right? But you're still going to PG that business, right? You're going to be the personal guarantee for that business until that business is making $2 million a year on paper. So if you go in with a good credit profile, right, and that credit profile is optimized, which is the first step of the product, right? That's the first step of our mentorship. That's why I set it up that way. I set it up in a way to where you can't fail unless you're just not being proactive, you're not taking action, and you're a person who's just gonna not do the work and you're gonna complain, right? So we're gonna optimize that profile to go get your vehicles and to get capital. Baseline is like basically kind of the stuff that you already have on there. Do you already own vehicles right now that are on your credit profile?
Yes.
Okay, so they're gonna, if you got a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 vehicle, you could probably get $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 vehicles all day long, right? We're not talking about just one. The way we run the play, right? I teach you guys how to buy multiple at once, right? So you're gonna get $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 vehicles, and you're gonna be able to get a bunch of them at one time to put on that LLC if you run the play, the blueprint that's provided, right? You run the play the right way. So if you're the base is kind of what's already there, right? The base is kind of what you've already established and built as a I guess you would say as a human being in the credit space, right? What you've done already, you know what I mean? That's where if you go try, you can get better cars, right? You can go get, if you got $50,000 and $60,000 vehicles and trucks and you go try to get a 90, they'll probably give it to you, but some lenders might want a down payment. We save that for later, right? We don't want to start out with those big hitters, right? So you want to be, it's going to be strategic when you come through. My vehicle dealer connect is Jeremy Tate. He's in the community. He just shipped out 4 vehicles today to Las Vegas to Miss Morgan Bonds. Those of you who are new, right, who are new to the community, new to the group, hit her up. Ask questions. I got all the social proof I need, right? If you follow me on Instagram, you probably caught my story today. I don't give a shit about anything what anybody says. I got this community for a reason because we provide results. We really out here changing lives, right? So hit her up. He will make sure that you're squared on the vehicles that you get. He's not going to put you in a a $2,500 car note. Unless you want, a Hellcat Durango or something, yeah, he could probably get it for you, but he's not going to put you in that type of position. And for lack of better terms, right, you can't, if you've never owned a $300,000 Lambo, you're not going to be able to go to the dealership and get one, right? Because they're going to lend off what they've seen. But the way you run the play is basically how I ran the play. I put about 6 vehicles on my personal, right? I got $287,000 worth of vehicle debt. Then I refinanced those vehicles into the LLC. So what that showed was paid off vehicles on my credit profile. $287,000 worth of vehicles paid off. So then you'll be in that position. If I want to go get a Lambo, I can go get one. I'm going to have the profile that shows that I can afford that I paid it. All I really did was ran the refinance play. And if your credit is optimized, right, you can always refinance. So that would be the baseline of where you're getting started, right? We recommend cheap car notes. The market's bad, the economy's bad, but don't let that stop you from being a business owner. You're never going to control that anyway. It don't matter who the fuck is in office. You can't control any of that type of shit. All you got to do is be a hustler and be able to adjust to that shit. You adjust to the market and you become the owner. You become, hey, I am a product of my environment. I want to make sure that my shit is good. So don't let interest rates or nothing like that throw you away, scare you away. You become the owner and you take charge of that shit, right? Like I said, there's really no base, but to answer your question, I mean that's kind of what I got. Have the refinance happen. Now I got those cars. I can go get those cars, get whatever I want because I've ran the that way.
So when that happens, right, you want to refinance to your LLC. Like, what does that process look like?
Basically optimize again. So anytime you're doing anything on the credit move, you want to make sure you're optimized, right? So you want to make sure that you no lates, no collections, things like that. Make sure your utilization is way down, right? Make sure you've got some proof of income. You've been making money, so make sure that you can provide it if they ask, right? And then you want to make sure that you don't have a lot of hard inquiries, right? So if you're optimized and you look good on paper, you're able to PG that refinance into the LLC as well. Just like whenever you first buy them, if you start out purchasing them in your LLC. It's just sometimes banks, lenders, they don't want you to just go straight to the business if you're not good enough over here on paper, or your income's not good enough. So you might have to run the play to where you're putting it in your personal first, and then 6 months down the line refinance. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I've done it myself. It's fine. It actually worked out better, especially if you want to, if you're trying to take it to where you're driving your dream car for free, right? Right. So that's the play on that.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? We good? We solid?
Yeah.
Perfect. Who else?
Let's see. I had a quick question, Trevor. As far as banking goes, would it be smart to say you have a business credit card, right? You liquidate the business credit card and you dump all that cash in your business checking account, hold it for 3 months, say you liquidate $80,000, $100,000, have it sitting in there. It's going to show deposits. It's going to show a big bag to the bank. Will that influence their decision to give you more assets, more cars, more of everything?
Yeah, anytime you do when it comes to a relationship with a bank, the more that you give them, the more that you provide them, the better that relationship comes. I've had people literally change their direct deposit to that bank. I mean, they know they're about to run some capital up with that bank. They might run a direct deposit over here to this bank, have the wife's direct deposit over here to this bank, and then maybe they're making manual deposits to this bank, however it may be. But the more of a stronger relationship that you build with that bank, that's what they base their limits that they give you based upon that, right? So anything that you could leverage with that bank, we want you to do that, right? We're not going to force you to do that. We're not going to press anybody to do these type of things. We're going to tell you the plays, tell you how to run them, but we'll never force you and say, hey, you need 3 business. We know business bank accounts cost about $150. So I'm not forcing you to go spend $150, $300, $450 on all. I'm not forcing you to do that, but I'm going to tell you the best strategies. And I'm going to let you know the lenders that we have in our pockets that give the best limits based upon the clients that we send them, right? So the better you look with the bank, the longer you're with them, the better off you're going to be. I try to tell people we got a new system that we just kind of implemented now. The second they get onboarded, we actually add that because, you know, as business grows, we grow, we get better, we learn more systems, we learn more strategies that way because we want more results. We want more clients that are winning, right? We want more clients to be successful. When you're successful, you're going to talk about it. So that being said, we like to, you know, put that in our onboarding message. Like, here's these 3 banks, open up 3 personal accounts with him, open up 3 business accounts with these banks, and then boom. That way, through the credit optimization process, it might be 2, 3, you might have a repo on there. It might take 6 months to get it off. But guess what? You just built that relationship with that bank for 6 months straight. So now when your credit's good, shit, you go get some money. They're like, damn, he been with us for 6 months. He got 100K in here. Shit, let's give him a $80,000 credit card, first time, first pool. You know, that's the type of things that we want. So I appreciate you asking that question because that is vital. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say, obviously, you could put a relationship's a relationship. I mean, we have our Bank of America and our Regions play. I mean, they literally just want, as long as you got some money in the $10, it don't matter. You got something in there. You're that relationship is built, right? You ain't never been negative. You ain't never missed a payment with them. They're going to like that kind of stuff, right?
All righty, perfect.
Great question. What else we got? Who we got?
Yo, I got a question.
Go ahead, Wally. I'm saying it right?
Yeah, Wally.
Wally.
Yeah, I wanted to know how long of a process, if I was to start today, how long of a process for me to get rolling?
If you start today, we get you in, we get you onboarded and get you going. I can't give you a timeline on when you can start, right, making revenue because I've never seen your credit profile, right? I never know what it looks like. And I have people come on and tell me, you know, where they're at. They might say 720, 750, 800. I'm never going to call anybody a liar when it comes to their credit. But we've had that happen, right? And I say, okay, shit, you're going to be 780, no delinquents, no negatives, no nothing. Shit, I can have you funded in, you know, less than a month, you know, at least a month, 45 days. But now we come to the point to where I'd rather not give anybody no type of timelines. I can tell you that my best timeline for a client was about 2 weeks. They literally came in ready for funding, right? And then my worst timeline would be a client right now who has a bankruptcy and they're sitting at like 13 or 14 months. And we've already got it off Equifax. We've got it off TransUnion, but Experience giving us problem. But I mean, that's 13 months for a bankruptcy when most people are sitting on that bankruptcy for 7 years, right? So we're trying to attack it. That's the only timelines that I can really give you. So depending on your past credit habits, right? Only you know what your credit profile looks like, right? So if you got no collections, no lates, super low inquiries, your usage is real low, right? And your age is decent, you know what I mean? Your payment history is good. I mean, you could be a quick client, right? But our goal is to make sure we're not trying to, you know, we're not trying to speed up the process on anybody, right? Everybody wants fast, right? Everybody wants quick money. Everybody wants real fast stuff, right? But we're gonna make sure we do it right. My goal is not to have quick results and then a client fail because a step was missed or nothing was done properly. I want to do it the right way, right? But our mission is to get you funded and started as quick as possible because at that point you become a result, you become a testimonial, you're going to post your wins and you're going to tell somebody about it, right?
Yeah, I respect it.
100%. Waleed, appreciate the question. I got a iPhone question. What is the best lender you would use for a business auto loan? Me personally, I like running the play with Bank of America. The reason is because they'll give you 4 auto loans per LLC, right? So I'm the type of person that has multiple LLCs. I think I got 8 or 10 of them. I'm not gonna lie. All the adults, me, my wife has one, my children's have them. You know, and I got like one or two. My wife has like 1 or 2, and the kids have like, you know, 1 or 2 apiece. The reason is because they're not legally on it, right? Because some of them aren't even of age yet to be on the LLC, but that business is being built up. That LLC's business credit is being built up. And when they do become of age to legally own the LLC on paper, all I have to do is amend the LLC and put them as ownership on the LLC. But you got to think about it, 10 LLCs, right? If I just go get a minimum of 10K from the same bank on 10 LLCs, I just made 100 bands. You know what I mean? So why not have multiple LLCs? I'm the type of person that, like, as long as they're all, you know, structured properly, I'm going to have multiple LLCs. So Bank of America, they will give you 4 auto loans per LLC. So you could do the math that way. You know what I mean? However many LLCs you want to get, go get that many cars, right? The best way to figure out, Mr. Jeff, the car that has the best ROI, right? That's something I actually teach within my community. It's a part, you know, not within my community, within my mentorship, right? I teach you how to do market research. I teach you how to properly list your vehicle so you got high visibility, right? Automated, things like that, right? But if you're just a client that's like on the fence and you want to do it, but you're like, damn, I don't know if it'll work. What cars are going to give me the best results? You never are going to fail going economy, right? You'll never fail going economy cars. One, the payments are super cheap, right? So you're going to get quick turnaround on them. A lot of people like to drive Teslas. You don't have, I mean, every time I turn around, I live here in Florida, right? Every time I turn around, there's a Tesla on the road. So Teslas are super popular with people wanting to drive them. I think Mr. Jeremy added a couple to his fleet. He joined us from Allegiant Vet, got his business going. And he's pushing his Tesla. I think he's running. He's already on Turo and running rent to own and private rental plays. So he's obviously an action taker and does that. Teslas are super dope to people. So something that they haven't been able to experience, but you can never fail going economy because the payments are cheap. That means you can list them for cheap, which means people are going to consistently book them out, right? You can visit your platform, right? Turo in your area. Just do a current location search and look at what cars have the most bookings. Those numbers don't lie, right? Men lie, women lie, you know the saying, but numbers don't lie. If you got 7 Teslas on there that all have 100+ trips, your one Tesla is not gonna, everybody else that's at 100, but yours is at 4. That ain't how it works, right? It's all the same. It's a numbers game. So if that Tesla's booking out, I mean, you're definitely gonna book out as well. If you're in the program and haven't started the credit repair process, should you wait to get the auto loan? I would say, I mean, I would follow the whole process. Why not go in with the best credit score so that you can get the best rates? That means your payments are cheaper. Like we were talking about earlier, we can't control the rates, right? But we can control the amount of profits that we make every single month. So if you go in with not so decent credit, right? And if you don't have decent credit, you probably don't have a lot of capital. That's just life, right? That's just me knowing credit, right? The clients that come in and the 6s, low 6s, the mid 6s, the higher 7s usually don't have a lot of credit. There's not a lot of people that have a $50,000 Amex or an unlimited Amex, you know, a Go when I can bring out. There's a lot of clients that don't have those type of things. It's like uncommon to people. People think it's uncommon, right? But just with good credit, you can have that. But I wouldn't skip a step because that's the difference in you getting you a car that has a 11% interest, right? And then getting you a vehicle that has 4% interest. We don't care about the interest rates on starting or stopping a business, right? But we care about the interest rates for our profits. Now you got to automatically upcharge 11% more so that you can pay not so you, but so the client can pay the interest, right? So go in with the best credit position, right? That way you can get literally the best rate on the vehicle because at the end of the day, it's still your business, right? If we want to keep our prices cheap so we can get a lot of bookings and make a lot of money. So yeah, I would definitely run the whole play. If I went into businesses, right, without mentorship and it didn't go well. Everything that you do doesn't matter, 9 to 5, all of that stuff, right? You still need a mentor. And everybody on here that has worked a 9 to 5, you went through some type of training, either whether it was classroom, job shadowing, book work, class, you went through some type of training. So you still had a mentor, but people frown upon the online mentors or, you know, people that have courses or shit online. I don't know why. We've been buying courses for a long time. We've been buying mentorships for a long time because those are the people that have already done it, right? They got a blueprint to follow. So why not follow the blueprint? If he's winning, I can win. I'm not different, right? So don't sleep on mentorship. Mentorship is really what's killing it. Just because it's online, it's no different than any other thing that you do. What else we got? Question, hit it. Let's go.
Yeah, real quick question. Would taking over leases for luxury vehicles, say someone has a year left on their lease, so that way you could print it on your credit report, would that give you access to luxury vehicles much faster? Because if, say, a dealership pulls your credit, they go, oh, you did have a Lexus, you did have a BMW, you did have this. Would they be more, would they lean more towards giving you the vehicle if you take over a lease with a year left, the way it's printed on the report?
If you take over a year lease from somebody else or from the actual dealership itself?
From somebody else.
I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to, I'm gonna be honest, like when it comes to leases. What I do know is that you can go lease vehicles from the dealership and you can host those leased vehicles on the platform. And that obviously frees up a lot of capital because you're only financing on your credit report the amount of time that you leased. So obviously, $60,000 vehicle for half of the term would probably only be 20,000 that you're putting on there on the lease when it comes to your credit. So I do know that you definitely can put leased vehicles on there. When it comes to the credit report, I don't really know how that works on, hey, you're telling this lender that you want to buy a leased vehicle from somebody else. I really don't know how that would work. I don't have that experience on that part. Like leasing from the dealership all day long. It's just like how you would do it. You can even lease the vehicle with your business LLC as well. Like you don't have to purchase it. But as far as like getting your lender, that's your question, right? As far as getting your lender to buy out somebody else's lease on their exotic car, is that what you're speaking of?
No, what you would do is you would take over the lease responsibility from the person who wants to give it up. You would take it up for the year term, and at the end of the term, return it back to the dealership. It would be a way of printing that history on your report showing that you had responsibility over a luxury car. So that way, if you go and run a play and you try to get a luxury car of similar value, they're going to go, yeah, he has experience with a luxury vehicle. We'll give it to him.
So that, I mean, like I said, that's something new to me. That's a play that I can, learn from you. Like I said, I really just found out about the leasing plays like just recently because I was so busy trying to structure I wasn't thinking about leases. You know what I mean? I was just structuring my profile, with the high dollar cars so I can refinance to get into my own luxury cars, like not exactly taking over a lease from somebody else. I would just free float it that way. In my opinion, if somebody out here had a Lambo and they were like, and it's a lease on them and they couldn't pay it, I would just be like, hey, let me just take over the note. If your note's 2,500 or 3K, I'll run a rental car business. Let's put some paperwork in line. I'll pay your note for you. Let me, and I still do my thing. A lot of people that have those cars, or when they're in those positions, sometimes they either want it or they don't. They might be tired of the car, right? And they want somebody to take over that payment. You know what I mean? They want somebody to take that over for them because it frees up not debt because it's still attached to their credit profile, but it frees up their cash flow. Now they don't have to make that payment every single month. I've worked plenty of deals to where I got cars that are out, and if I'm just paying half of that client's payment, right? That client's payment might be $2,000, but they're not using the car frequently. They're not barely using it at all. If I take over, hey, I need the car, but shit, I'll pay I'll pay half of your car note every single month. They're like, shit, it's just sitting here anyway, and I'm just giving it $2,000. Take it over, So that's how I would personally run that play. Because I just don't see myself taking over man. If I buy something super exotic, right? When it comes to that type of, McLarens, Urus, things like that. I want my shit. I don't want some shit that's been, you know what I mean? Those are already high dollar vehicles. Let me get my own shit. That's what I built the credit profile for. I built it. If I want to go buy a Urus tomorrow, I can go buy it because my profile has already shown that. Other than that, I'll just, how much you can't afford it? Shit, let me get it. I can afford it. And, I ain't going to cash flow you, but I can save the capital that you're currently spending. I can do it that way. That's just me personally, how I run the play. I'm a different type of playmaker when it comes to those type of things. People have different things. They're either wanting the cash flow or they're wanting to build up the credit profile. You can run the play however. If you're trying to build up your credit profile for that, you can run that play easily. But shit, different strokes for different folks, Good question again. You get me, dog. Jeff, I see you came off mute. Hold on, Jeff. Jeremy, your hand was raised. Go ahead and ask, brother.
Hey, real quick, those plays really work great, right? But just remember when you're starting this, keep it simple, right? Rent to own options, private rentals. A lot of that will come with your clientele, right? You build your clientele, right? And as you build your clientele, you're going to start building your brand. As you see in my background, that's my brand, right? Somebody mentioned before about your LLC. That is your brand, right? That's your image. Don't forget that, right? As you're building. And then the other thing is, and I'll tell you, Trevor has in his program, I'm not going to spill the beans, but word of mouth and handshakes is not business anymore, right? You need to have contracts and all that good stuff. And that's one thing I'll tell you about Trevor in the program, providing those contracts, providing those rental owns, those examples really helped me get those processes going. Because once you put something like that in a piece of paper in front of somebody, it's real, right? When you tell them, hey, I'm gonna give, I have my Tesla Y on private rental for $1,000 a month. Guy couldn't come up with a down payment of $1,000. I was like, this isn't gonna work. So just be smart about it and be simple, right? It's a very simple process, and you gotta allow it to work. If you try to do too many things at once, I think you may fail because you're just trying to do so much. Get a car on Turo, like Trevor says, right? Just because you're not in the let's say you don't have 5 cars yet, you're waiting on funding, but you can get one. I was rolling with one car, I'm not lying, for a month, paying the car note of 3. So it's playable. You just gotta follow the process, but you also need to be patient. And doing too much, you kind of put yourself in that rat hole, and you can't really return. So that's all I got about that.
Yeah, fire. Thanks, Jeremy. Obviously, appreciate it. Fire ass logo. I seen it in the comments as well. That's a dope logo as well. Getting your shit started, getting everything rolling. I mean, Jeremy hit it on the head, right? Like, get out there and get started. I mean, you can get one and not put yourself in the garden. Your credit might be bad. Put one car out there or try it with your personal car to get some money, kind of test the waters. You know what I mean? Like, one car is not going to stop you from getting funding or multiple cars whenever you finish. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go through the optimization process. Usually when you're in the credit garden, you're in there for about 6 months anyway. If you bought some new stuff and you added some new debt, your credit might take 6 months to fix. You might have a repo or multiple collections or things like that. Like, you know what I mean? Getting out there and getting started is the most important thing. And like Jeremy said, we give you guys contracts. We give you guys everything. That way we know and we can make sure that you guys are successful doing so. You got to understand it's a business. You're going to have ups and downs, right? There's going to be slow months. There's going to be fast months. But you can't let it stop you, right? I say this when I go to multiple meetings with multiple, clients that are going to become new, right? I mean, Walmart, people steal from Walmart all the time, right? But they don't close the doors and say, hey, we're going to stop. No more business. No, they monetize and they optimize and they make their systems better so that they don't have to worry about things like that. It's the same thing with your business. Put paperwork in place, especially if you're doing private rental, rent to own. Make sure you know your clientele. Figure out the kind of clients that are booking your cars. If you've got your car on there, it's a nice car and you're putting it on there for $20, $30 because you're just trying to make money, you're going to get a $20 and $30 ass client, right? They're going to treat your vehicle like shit. They're not going to wash your vehicle. They're going to mess it up. Pick your audience. When you got a nice car, give it a nice price. You're going to put somebody in there that wants to buy that car, that wants to book that car, and you're going to be able to know what clientele you work with. And if you follow everything right, the automations and things like that, you're going to get return customers, build relationships with these customers. That way you can get off the Turo platform. And at that point, you're actually doing private rental, which leads to having a rental car business. You get 100% of your profits. No more sharing, right? Not Turo taking their piece to have the deductibles. You get all the money. That's the goal. 1 car, 3 car, 5 cars, 30 cars. It don't matter. Assets making money is the play. That's how you stop trading your time for money, right? It ain't no job shit. You're going to be business owners, right? One way or another, you're going to get it drilled in your head through videos, through my posts, through these calls. One way or another, everybody going to be out of the rat race. That's the goal. Why are you working for somebody else? You're making him 18 times more than what you're making. Do the numbers, do the math, do your paycheck and check your CEO. You're paying them 18 times what you're making. Everybody in that organization. Why don't you be the guy that's up here at the top? Start something, build something, focus on just that, making it the best. You know what I mean? That's business, right? Michelle, go ahead.
We have someone in the community that couldn't make it, and they want to know where do you prefer the Turo over private rental, and private rental, what kind of insurance do you use, and how do you get your customers?
I would always keep everything on Turo, right? Keep everything on Turo because Turo is going to get the bookings. When I didn't do a lot of private rental while I was on Turo because Turo gave me a little bit more protection than when you do private rental. I'll get into the insurance part as well, but Turo was like I know I'm going to get bookings. It's an app. Everybody uses it. Somebody's going to book the car. If they mess it up, total it, whatever, it'll be paid for by Turo. I was good with that, right? And then I slowly got into private rental, and it kind of sucked more because I was like, they were really not treating it as good as they can treat it, right? That's when I went into rent to own. Rent to own is the play. 100%. I got it in there. It's in the mentorship. I got you the contracts. I tell you the whole game on it. Rent to own is the play because you become the dealer. You're in charge of the price. You got to understand if they're renting from Turo, they probably don't have a lot of money, right? As in they can't afford a car. Or, well, they probably got money. Actually, let me reverse that. They probably don't have a lot of good credit, right? Because they're renting for a reason. But they still have to get back and forth to that job. They're still trying to get to that 9 to 5. Why else would they be renting for you? Or you're going to have the trappers. People that trap, they like to trap out of rental cars. I mean, it's not going to hurt you or affect you, right? It's still a business. You're going to make money. To be honest, I lived in Shreveport, Louisiana. That's where I'm from. And the people that was trapping, doing whatever they was doing was my best clients, right? I'm talking about cash every week. I was charging $325, $350 a week for a Model 3 Tesla. My payment was like $720. Like I'm doubling up every single car because you're in charge of that, right? You're in charge of that type of when it comes to that situation. So rent to own is the play. Hey, this is your payment. It's due the 15th or whatever, the first. You make it your way. You're the boss, right? So your payments due this time every month. You can put them on weekly payments. You can put them on bi-weekly. You can put them on monthly. The goal is to make money. If your car note's $800, tell them it's $1,500. Tell them it's $1,300. Y'all were going to negotiate and come up with deals and all that. The difference in that is that's the guaranteed money compared to the Turo money, which ain't so guaranteed, right? If they don't pay, you repo your shit, you get your car back, charge somebody else a down payment. There's your car note with some money in your pocket. You rent it out again, do the same play over and over and over and over. So obviously she or he will be able to catch it in the call recordings. For the insurance side of things, now Turo got something called Tint. I wasn't running it this way back then, but now I'm only running it that way. Turo provides off-trip insurance as well. So you'll have Turo insurance whenever it's on the platform, rented out on a trip, you'll be covered. Anything happens, you pay your deductible, everything will be covered. But they have something called Tint. It's who they partner with. The deductibles are super high. That's how this shit works, right? But your monthly insurance is like $89. So you're paying $80 a month for the car to be covered when it's not on Turo. The only stipulation is you got to have a tracker on it. So their verified tracker, I use One Stop GPS. So One Stop GPS is the tracking service that I use. It's like $13 a month, 13 per tracker, right? So mine's kind of high because I got so many cars. The 13 ain't no longer 13, right? But I pay that monthly tracking note. You buy the device one time, you plug it in, and once you plug it in, forgot what that little port's called up under the OB2. I don't know what it's called, right? You would think I'm a car guy, but I'm not. I don't give a fuck about these cars. I just make money off of them. They're assets. They're not liabilities. That's it right there. OBD. Thank you, Mr. Ross. That's what it is. You plug it in there. It works. It's tracking. That's all you need to have whenever you're to be, qualified for the Tint. It's $90 a month per car. That's $1,000 deductible if something happens, or you could just connect with people, get you a big network, link up with a mechanic or something. If you ain't got to pay the deductible, if he'll hook you up for $200-$300, let him fix it. If it's a $15,000 damage, then use 10, pay the 1,000 instead of the 15. Be smart with your money, right? So I use Turo when it's on trip. tint when it's off trip. And yes, it covers it while it's on snooze. The vehicles that I don't want to rent out, I bought two SRT 300. So they're Chrysler 300Cs, right? 6.4 motor in it. They big boys, right? I'm about to put superchargers on them. Those are snoozed right now off the platform. Like I don't rent them out. Actually, every car on my Turo platform, they're all snoozed because they're all on rent to own, and or they're my personals that I'm driving myself. So I snooze everything, and I put in, and I have tint for all those vehicles. So now my insurance went from a whole lot to shit. I think I'm under $1,000 for the cars that I have on that platform, right? I don't cover the 10 I got 10 in North Carolina, I got 10 in Las Vegas. I don't cover them at all. That host out there does that thing, right? I get my monthly cash flow. Y'all don't care about the profits. This is what I need for those. Pay me every month. Same thing with the Vegas guy. This is what I need for those. Pay me every single month. Do what you do with the car. There's times I got to sign virtual power attorneys, right? If something happens, if it gets impounded or whatever, it's a car business. It's going to happen. I just sign. He pays me. We on the way, so that's what I rock with. What about recall unlisted? You don't, nah. Yeah, you're going to have to deal with recalls, right? You're going to get vehicles that have recalls on it. It's a Turo thing. Hopefully when you buy it from the dealer, they're not going to sell you a car with a recall, but they do have cars that have recalls, and Turo's going to unlist it until you get the recall fixed. There was just a recall question in my DM. I don't think they meant to put it in there. They meant to put it for everybody, but yes, you are affected by recalls. If you have a recall, you have to go get the paperwork from the dealership saying that it's cleared, email it to Turo, and they'll list you back, but they will unlist your car if there's a recall. They don't want it to be, messed up. Paulette, go ahead. I see your hand raised. I'm sorry. Oh, I got to get to Jeff. Jeff came off mute. I think he asked something that I'm going to shoot right back to you, Miss Paulette. Jeff, did you have something for me? Maybe not. Paulette, floor is yours.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My question is, okay, so this is my first time being on a live. My daughter is watching. I do have an LLC. It's a soaping LLC, but she wants to get involved, like, because what you're saying is like so great to us. Like, and she's 18. So I'm trying to figure out like what for her to start an LLC, like what type of LLC would be good to start this business. Or does it matter?
No, it does matter. The LLC, I actually have a training in the Skool community. It's open to any mentees or students that do, move forward with us. We teach you and do all that for you. But the suggestion is the LLC does have to be properly structured, right? It's got to be structured the right way. And the reason you want it structured the right way is because that's what lenders look at before they want to give you capital. So if you have an LLC that's a high risk LLC, right? If you're not checking all the dots, making sure everything is solid on that LLC, that could be your difference in a bank giving you $5,000 for your business to grow and $50,000. So it's super important that your LLC is structured properly. I think all you got to be is above the age of 13 to have an LLC, so she can still go create one and make one. But I would suggest, if you want to talk about it, I can have one of my representatives reach out to you. That way we can kind of get you squared away on everything that you need to see if it'll be beneficial, for us to run the play with you and help you with that. But the LLC, yes, is super important to have. If she's 18, I'm assuming she probably has very young credit. Has she owned a lot of stuff?
Well, no, her credit is 740. I mean, she has really good credit. Like, she has her, credit card and stuff, and she makes sure she paid on time. So we make sure that, her credit is decently good. It's like a 740 because, I mean, I messed up my credit before, and so I made sure that, I didn't let her do that. Right. So she is on the right path as far as the credit.
I was gonna say power to you. Like my mama didn't. I don't think it ain't that she was gatekeeping. She just didn't know. She didn't know credit. She was taught a certain way, right? So the fact that you knew to put her on the right path is good. That's what we want for our children, right? She's got credit cards, like you said. She up in the 740s, right? Does she have does she own a vehicle? Does she have a vehicle on there or any real estate?
No, she don't have no vehicle No,
No,
we don't have.
no houses or nothing.
But like cause like my best friend had put her on what is it? I'm not saying the right thing, but
Trade
as
line,
like a
authorized use.
writer like
Yeah.
under her. I don't know the exact terminology, but she put her under her so she can help build her credit. And so that's how it got, to that level as well. She piggyback, whatever it's called, something
Yeah.
like that. She helped her.
Yeah, basically like an authorized user, basically added her probably to a trade line as an authorized user on one of the cards, or she probably put her as a co-signer on some things like that. I would have I'll tell you guys a play. And this is a play that you guys can run and keep. If you got some money, right? Like whatever type of money, capital, or if you want to use it with credit, right? And liquidate it or whatever you want to do. If you got access to some liquid, right? To some money, right? Go take your daughter, run this play, right? Take your daughter, take you 10, 15, 20 grand, whatever. Get it however you got to get it. Like I said, you can liquidate it from your credit cards or whatever it may be, or if you just want to take out however you want to run the play. I ain't gonna, that's up to you. But take you about 10, 15, 20K, right? And go secure that 10, 15, or 20K with a bank that doesn't have any early terminations, and they don't lock up your money. That means you can get it as soon as it, after 30 days or 45 days, right? And go secure like about, secure that money with your daughter as a co-signer for that money. And it's all your own money, right? This is your 10K. I'm going to secure it with the bank. They're going to match the 10K, right? Or 20K. Your daughter's the co-signer on there. 30 days, 45 days later, obviously, like I said, make sure there's no early penalties to pay it off, and make sure that they don't lock up your money for a certain amount of time. Navy Fed does it. It's called a pledge loan. My bank does it. It's not going to be a bank that you're familiar with back home, but they do it as well. And then take that same money about 45 days later after it hits her credit report and pay the loan off. So secure their money right back. It's all your money. And what that shows is a primary loan paid off on your daughter's credit profile of the amount that you did it with, right? So now she holds a little bit more leverage in the credit world and the credit space. And like I told you guys earlier, lenders like to lend off stuff that they have already seen. So if they seen that your daughter was fresh with a $20,000 loan before, when she goes and applies for a loan or credit, they're probably going to give her 20K off the rip, right? It don't matter how long you had it, as long as they don't see that. They don't see, oh, they only had the loan for 45 days. They don't see that. They see that she had a $20,000 loan that got paid off. That's what they see. So that's a play that you can run, and it'll help your daughter out and hold some leverage too. But we do those type of things within our mentorship, right? We make sure that you're good on credit. We tell you the credit builders that you need. If you're not there, we get you some pretty strong credit builders on there, and then we go get you the capital that you need, and we obviously can help you with that LLC to make sure that thing is super solid. You don't want to make them incorrect. If you got most people that have LLCs that didn't get the proper training on creating one, they do them wrong. And I mean, why have an LLC if you can't get capital? That's your business. If you can't get capital from the bank to use the LLC, why have the LLC? I don't go to, you know what I mean? I'd rather go tell somebody. I don't go out places and be like, hey, look at my LLC. You know what I mean? But I can be like, hey, I'm a Turo business builder. That's the business, right? That's the face. You know what I mean? So the paperwork is important because you're going to get the capital to build a big brand and a big business.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Paulette. I appreciate the question. Focus on your data point. Yep. You're hitting it in there. Yep, Navy Fed pledge loan. Don't buy, like Jeremy put in the chat, right? Don't buy branded vehicles. Turo's not going to let you list it. Some dealerships aren't even supposed to sell them, like if they're rebranded and things like that, but don't do salvage titles or anything like that. Turo's not going to let you put that on there. They don't do no type of shadiness, and they try to lock some things down. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's learned how to run some plays with it. He might have traded with it. He might be doing private or rent to own with it. So you can still make money. It's still an asset, but Turo definitely will try to block that, like he said. What is the vehicle age limit on Turo? I think it's 13 years and more. Oh, is it 10 now? So it's 10 years, and they got stricter because it used to be 13 and 130,000 miles. Is it still 130K miles, Michelle?
I thought it was 110.
So they might have dropped it as well. So if you already reached that on the platform, they don't care, right? Like I have a classic, a yellow jacket Scat Pack Challenger on there. It's like a 2012, but I listed it with like 80,000 miles, so I'm good. It's at like 140 now, but they're not gonna take it off there if you've already, you just can't put new vehicles that are past that age and past that mileage limit on there. Private rental last weekend, 600. That's the play. Private rental's the play. Don't jump right into private rental though. Like Jeremy said, get your feet wet, learn some Turo, get you a good clientele, find you a client that you build with and trust, and get it popping. What else we got? I know there's some more questions on. We got a couple more minutes to get some more questions answered. You can free fall it if you got something. If you got a credit one that has to do with the vehicles or the car, or if it's all Turo, shoot it. Let's get it answered. I want to make sure you guys are good when you're renting these vehicles out, whenever you're running your Turo business, and whenever you're making money. Nothing more. I'm assuming everybody's solid, everybody good, everybody locked in. Obviously everybody in here is a part of the community. If you're not a student of mine, right? If you haven't moved forward with us, raise your hand one time. You can hit the think to raise. I don't even know how to do any of that type of stuff. Maybe it's React. Maybe I don't know. Raise your hand if you're not a student yet. And we're not gonna know. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm not doing anything like that, right? If you've never been on a call with me personally, like a one-on-one call, if you're not a student, if your credit is, if you need capital, right? You need capital, and you're trying to, be to that next level. Raise your hand. Let's get those hands raised, and let us kind of see what's going on, and if there's ways that we can, help you. I want it to make sense. I'm on this. I don't have to come in here and do the sales pitching or none of that type of stuff. We give game, we give value, we give it all away. But the most important thing is like making sure that we can be an impact on your life and change your life. And that's what's most important, right? Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says. That's the most important thing to me. So making sure that you guys have the know, right? We can get you guys some capital, and making sure that we're a good fit for you guys. If we're not a good fit, I don't have a problem with turning people away. If it isn't going to work and it doesn't make sense, I'm not a time waster, right? I value time. I value the 9 to 5. Not the 9 to 5. I value time. That's why I left the 9 to 5, right? So I'm not no one on this team or in this community is going to waste your time. We're going to provide you with results. We're going to provide you with answers and things like that. And we're going to make sure that we got something good for you to be that's going to benefit you. I'll answer this one last question before I hop off here. I know it's 9 o'clock over here where I'm at. I don't know where everybody else is at. I'm at, obviously this is the latest, unless we got anybody out of the country, but how long does it typically take to get funding with the LLC? And do you ever not get funding with the new LLC? I can't say I've never personally experienced between myself or any of my students them not get funding for the LLC. Now the limits, that's different. And then like I said, it still goes back to that profile and what you look like on paper. Do you make good, what you're doing right now is what you're going to go in with. You're not going in with your business built up. So whatever your 9 to 5 is paying you now on proof of income and things like that. So I can't tell you what limits you'll get. I've seen 7K, I've seen 10K, I've seen 50K, I've seen 75K, I've seen 30K, everything up from, from 7 all the way up to, 75K. And that's on the first pull with one lender, right? But you got to remember that was kind of the strategy. New credit people get you multiple LLCs, go get, if they're only giving you 10, right? Go get 10 times. You just made 100 and it's on your business. You know the game when it's on your business, right? It's not attached to you. So operate your business with the business credit, right? I'm not going to go in too deep on that because I operate a little different, but yeah, you don't have multiple LLCs for that reason. But if your credit profile is good, right, which is going to be if you come through us, if you got some pretty good income right now, and obviously a lot of them don't ask for taxes, they want check stubs or whatever. Our lenders don't ask for much. They look at your credit, they verify you are who you are, your ID, personal information. We send you through you get the money, right? So you're definitely going to get a bag from that. So I've never seen a LLC not get funded. And how long does it take? So how our process works is as soon as we tell you, hey, you're optimized, your credit's good to go, we're ready to send you through funding, we send you to the funder right away. So that basically goes upon obviously the credit profile. based upon your past credit habits, where you're at on paper, what we got to fix. That then, you know, that's obviously the only thing that's going to take the time, right? Only you know what your profile looks like. But when it comes to the funding, I mean, as soon as we send you over there, they set your account up if you ain't already done it, right? We hope you've already done it, because in our onboarding, we're telling you to do that. Set them accounts up so that relationship is being built, right? Put you a couple dollars in there so that relationship is built. We send you over, I mean, same day approvals. We literally send it to the lender. If everything's you already got your business bank account set up, you answered the phone, you're on the call with him right now, he's gonna do it right then and there. So that part's a pretty quick process. Yeah, so does that answer your question, David? Just want to be sure. You want to make sure there's nothing unanswered, right?
Sure, appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, boss man. But yeah, look, I've enjoyed speaking to you guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to everybody who showed up to this call. I appreciate all the questions, right? I hope the knowledge, you know, that you were seeking was answered in this call. This will be dropped in the call recording. So if you miss it, or there's something that I said that you're thinking like, damn, what did he say? What did he say? That way you can, when you're running these plays or you're needing those answers, you'll be able to go catch it in the call recordings. So that'll be posted probably sometime tomorrow, or you know, just be on the lookout for it. Like I said, I appreciate each and every one of you. And you know, if your hand was raised, you know, we'll try to see what we can do for you, and make sure that we can, you know, change your lives as well. It's what we do over here. We change lives. I'm not out here for anything else but providing results and making everybody a testimonial. So I appreciate each and every one of you. How much capital do you need? One more to start if you're already funded. I went in with like, I think 35K or something like that, and it wasn't enough. Like, I wish I had more. Mr. Jeremy, if he wants to shed some light on what he went in with, he went a little bit different. We're getting them right though. Everybody needs more, right? We want to get you the max. We want to get you the max amount of funding. Why? By you asking that question, right? You kind of putting don't put a roof over your head. If we can go get you 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, let's do it, right? Like, it's just credit. You don't have to use it. You know what I mean? Like, why not have the access to it? Now, if you want to get that rental property across the street, or you want to go buy 10, 20 vending machines, or you want to, you know, buy some stocks or whatever, now you got the capital to do so. So never think, not saying that you're thinking less, right? But never put a capital, you know, a roof, you know, on your head, right? We're going to get you the max amount. That's the goal, to get you the max amount. And then we keep running these plays. We get you the max amount the first time, personal and business. We run it up on both sides. Then we let you operate for about 6 months, running business. Then you might be ready for funding again. Let's dip again. Now we might get another 200,000-300,000. Now we at 600,000-700,000. It's a project. It's not just boom. You know what I mean? It's a project. Get your credit right. Credit's good. Get you some capital. Operate with the capital. Show them that you're good. Come back and run. Get more capital. Boom, boom, boom. We want to be everybody where they're touching $1 million in credit, right? $1 million worth of credit. Then you can do anything you want. So yeah. But yeah, I hope it answered everybody. I appreciate everybody. Catch it in the call recording. Share it with a friend. If you're in the community, share that with everybody. Tell them about the community. Let's change more lives. And I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and stay blessed and have a prosperous future. Look, y'all have a good one.